Good afternoon, you guys. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Okay, I'll give you guys a second to join. How is everyone doing? Right? It's been one scope to another today. This has been so fun. Hi. Okay, so let's kind of go over some of the specifics. Is my music or dishwasher too loud? Just let me know if any of those are too loud. I'm behind with housework too. That's why my dishwasher is going right now, because I had to get that done really quick. I was totally doing dishes and watching Periscope at the same time. So yeah, that's how I work today. So basically what you guys are going to need is a 2x4. So your local hardware store, whatever is closest to you, Lowe's, Home Depot, True Value, I don't know, whatever is closest to you, you're just going to want to buy some 2x4s. Now, I can cut these myself. I have a miter saw and I cut them myself. If you are not able to cut them yourself, then they will cut them for you at places like Lowe's and Home Depot. I don't know if all of them will, but Lowe's and Home Depot will cut them. You just need to ask them. Your first 2 cuts are free. Anything over that they charge you. Depends on which one. One charges me 25 cents, one charges 10 cents. So it just depends. But no matter what, they will cut them for you. Or you can talk your husband into cutting them or cut them yourself. I cut them myself. So a 2x4 is the main thing that you need for this project, and then we'll go from there. You guys, what I'm going to show you today really will open up the possibilities for you guys to do anything you want. So as you see these blocks over here, these actually normally sit on my fireplace mantle, and these are just black and white pictures that I have used and then vinyl lettering to put on top of these. So that's what these ones are. So now as far as size, this is really going to be up to you. The ones that I'm using today are about 4.5 inches tall. So these that I'm going to show you guys today are 4.5 inches tall. I do have one that's going to start my word that's a little bit taller, and 4, 5, 6, about 5.5 inches tall. So it really just depends on the size that you want, how big your lettering is, and let me explain. So Walmart has a pack of stencils. If you do not have a silhouette, like these vinyl letters, I cut on my silhouette. So if you have something, a vinyl cutter of some sort, then this step right here is going to be completely irrelevant to you. But I'm going to show you both. If you have a vinyl letter cutter, you already know what to do and how to cut your letters, so we don't need to explain that to you. This is for the ones who do not have a vinyl letter cutter. Walmart sells this super cute, funky font, or wonky, depending on what funny word you like to use. But so they have this really fun and funky font at Walmart, and this is just a pack of cardboard stencils. So they're super, they were only a few bucks, and they have tons of these. So you can get those, and you guys can pull out your word. As you see, my word is joy for the year, and this is how fun this font is. What I did ahead of time was I just traced the letter out onto some decorative paper. So it's just laid down and traced. Nothing hard, nothing too difficult for you guys to do. So just trace out whatever your word will be. I'm also, if you have a really, really big word, I'm going to show you how to make that work on just one block too. So basically, you guys will put this on vinyl, and then you're just going to cut it out. Make sure when you're cutting this out, if you use a dark marker, to cut just in front of your line so that you don't show the outline of your lettering. So just a little tip there. So you're just going to cut these out. There's nothing difficult about this part right here. And so you guys, while I'm cutting this out, what are your guys' one little word for the year? Who has their word already picked out, and what is it? Just tell me what those are. I'd love to hear them. Balance, purposeful. Ooh, those are great. Grace, love it. Abide, yes. These are just a decorative paper. It's a little bit thicker than a regular paper. It came in a pack from cardstock. Came in a pack from Hobby Lobby. So it's a little bit thicker than a regular paper, but really not much. Here, let me see. Where'd my pack go? I can actually show it to you. Here it is. I've used this so much that it's going. It's almost gone. But this was the pack that I bought from Hobby Lobby. It was $5.99 and I used my 40% off coupon. So it made it super cheap. And all it is just decorative paper. Like I said, it's a little bit thicker than standard paper, but it's not cardstock. However, you could use cardstock if you have it on hand, then use it. But you can use whatever you want. Okay, so once you have your letters cut, you guys, you want to take, oh, I love you, Sherry. Thanks for joining us. And so you just want to take your wooden blocks and you want to paint them. You guys can paint these any color you want, whatever is going to match in your house, whatever is going to work for you. What I use, you guys can use one of two things. You guys can just use basic acrylic paint. This is from Walmart. It's cheap, cheap, cheap. So you guys can use whatever you want in whatever colors you want. This is chalkboard paint. And so these I actually painted in chalkboard paint because I wanted to show you a couple things. So hi, how are you, Mandy? So if you do not have the ability to cut out your letters or don't want them to be cut out, you guys can just paint these in chalkboard paint and just use chalk and write on top of them. And it's that simple. Here's a blue one. You literally could just write right on top of it, and you can write your word on that too. So, and it could be that simple. So, that's another way. If you guys want to use chalkboard paint, you guys can use that too. And this runs about $5 or $6 at Walmart, Lowe's, Hobby Lobby, Home Depot. Everyone carries chalkboard paint. It's super popular now. You can find it anywhere you want. So you're just going to paint them. Just use a foam brush. Yes, it is teal chalkboard paint. It's actually called Peacock. And this is from Walmart. And like I said, it runs about $5 or $6 for the container. And this paints a ton. Way more than I thought it would. So, yes, but it is teal. One of my favorites. So, just paint these. Whatever color you're going to paint them. So, have them paint it and then cut out your letters. What you're going to do from here is I agree. I really like it. I did darken it up a little bit. If you guys are wanting to antique, let me set these aside for one quick second and show you this. Like, I did darken this up a little. It's brighter than what this is showing. The way that, here's a super fast, cheap, easy way to antique. Just get a jar full, add some water to it, and just add a little bit of black acrylic paint. Not a lot, you guys. We're talking like a drop or two, not a lot. And then just take your paintbrush and then it's going to be so watery, and you're just going to paint right over it. This is going to add some darkening to your corners wherever you want it, and will make it look a lot more antiqued. So you can just literally just paint on some dark paint and darken it up and make it look a lot more antique. So now that I've got this, I'll do this and set this aside because we're going to need this block. So we'll give it some time to dry. So that's a really easy way, and you'll see how much it changes the color, adds just some dimension to it, and also kind of antiques it for you. And super easy, just watered down black paint. So I'm going to set that aside, and let's go back over here to our regular blocks that we have set up. You're going to need some Mod Podge. Now, when you go to the craft section to buy this, Target carries it, Walmart carries it, and all of your main craft stores, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, you're going to be able to find it anywhere. So you're going to want the gloss Mod Podge. You do not want matte. You don't want the dishwasher safe, even though those are super fun, and I have those ones too. You want gloss for this project. So it's going to be this orange color of Mod Podge, and it's going to be gloss. This is a little pricey depending on where you get it from, but this lasts a long time, and when you guys see how much you could do with it, you're gonna want you're gonna want the large size one, not the small size one. So what you're going to just do is open it up, and with a sponge brush, paint a thin coat on the top side of your block. Make sure it's thin. You guys don't want this to be super, super, super thick, because it'll take forever to dry, and well, you'll just be sitting here forever. So a thin coat, and then just go ahead and set it aside and brush the rest of them. Again, my word only has 3 letters, so I'm going to do my whole word, but if you have a long word, like determination or perseverance, and you don't want to do blocks for every letter, I'm going to show you a way to do that in one block as well. So just paint these a thin coat on top of them so that it has a second to start to dry. And you see how fast this starts to dry. You can see the difference in these and how light this one is becoming. So what you're going to want to do is take your letters and place them on there while it's still damp. You don't want it to be soaking wet, again, because if you do, you're going to be waiting for a long time for this to dry. So place your fun, funky letters on there, whatever you have laid out. I'm going to make my O a little lopsided, because this should be straight, but I want it to be a little lopsided, so it's fun. So that's it. You're just going to stick these on there just like that. Give them a second and add some pressure to it if you need to add a little bit of pressure. Just make sure you press them down. Mod Podge is going to be sticky, so if you get it on your hands, I like to keep a towel close by just so that you can wipe your hands off. So keep a towel close by, and then just give them a little bit of pressure, making sure that they're laying flat. Once you feel that they're down flat, and as you can see, this first one is pretty much almost completely dry. So this one's really ready for us to start working with. So you're just going to get some Mod Podge on your sponge brush and go along the edges of your lettering and press it down, just dotting it and pressing it down, making sure that it's laying flat. Like I have a little bubble right here, and so I want to just press that down. This is why you're going to want a towel or washcloth or paper towel by you, because you are going to need to apply some pressure if you have a little bubble underneath. So you want to make sure you press all that down, and then just go ahead once you've covered your letter and fill this all in with the Mod Podge. So you want a thicker coat on this, but still not too thick, because you guys, you'll be sitting here forever waiting for it to dry if you put it on too thick. Make sure that you're pressing down any air bubbles that you have, and then just continue to just cover it back up. Does anyone have any questions so far? These are pretty simple and fast and cute to do. So once you finish those, you just follow the same steps and just go ahead and press down all of your letters, and then just cover them back up. You guys, I tend to like to do 2 coats on top of my lettering. What this Mod Podge is going to do is solidify it to the piece of wood. So it's literally going to become one. You're not going to be able to peel it. Do I gloss the whole block? Typically, no, I do not. And I'll explain why, because I can flip these around and this backside can now be a chalkboard. And I can actually have a chalkboard in place. So if I Mod Podge on top of it, I will not be able to do that. However, I do like to Mod Podge the top of them because it makes it easier to wipe them clean. So I typically don't if I'm using chalkboard paint, like I said, simply so that I can use the back of it as a chalkboard. So I like to use things in lots of different ways. So I tend to not cover the back, but I do cover the top. Thank you. As you see, this one has like a big blob right here. There is a hole in this piece of wood, so the paint went down inside of that. That's going to take a while to dry. So when you see that, if you have a hole in a piece of wood that you're doing and this is a thick white spot, it may take 24 hours for that to fully dry. So don't be freaked out that you're going to have a white spot on there. It will eventually dry. So just a heads up on that. So once you've painted all of these, you're going to want to just go ahead and let them dry. So we're going to just push these aside for the moment. And I'm going to show you guys on this blue block, if you have a long word, how to condense it onto one block. Now I have cut a smaller block. This one is about 3.5 inches tall, so this one's a smaller one. You guys can definitely use a block as wide or as tall as this one, which is 5.5 inches, and just turn it sideways so that you have a longer surface. If you want to fill in your whole word here, you can definitely do that. You'll cut it out the same way or use some stickers and stick those on. Again, that's if you have a bigger word and you want to make sure that you're covering that whole thing. Hold on, I had a bubble right here, you guys. I have to cover that up. I don't want a bubble. So if you have a small or a longer word, so you can just do something as simple as this. And what I've done is I went to a thrift store down the street from me today, and I bought just an old, this is super old, sheet music. And so I bought this for all of 29 cents at the thrift store. And all I wanted was the notes. I wanted the music notes. So you guys can find these really easy. To find your word of the year, really that's going to be a personal thing for you. That's going to be something that you just really need to spend some time in prayer over. Really just ask the Lord to reveal to you what he wants to show you for the year. Seek after him. Don't just pick something on a whim. Really seek after the Lord and what he wants to show you. And just pray for an open heart and an open mind to hear what he has to say. When I was doing this and I felt like God told me joy, I said, no, I don't like that one. And I want a better one because I don't want joy right now. And so the more that I just kept praying, the more that it just kept being pressed on my heart. So take some time and really pray over it. Seek after the Lord for it. And just trust that he will give that to you in the proper time. So there's no special way to determine that word. It's really a word between you and the Lord. So, but if you are looking for it and you need it, I will be happy to pray with you as you're trying to figure out what that is, and just pray that the Lord will open up your heart and your mind. So if you need prayer over finding a word, just message me on Instagram after this, and I would love to pray for you over that. Well, there you go. Okay, love it is. So what I've done is I just, this book that I bought today at the thrift store for 29 cents, I just cut a piece of the sheet metal, oh my goodness, the sheet music out of it. So I just cut a piece out of this so that I could have the old, I really wanted it to look old, and so that's why I went searching for it. So just, I ripped a piece out. Well, I cut it out and then I just tore along the edges and I wrote my word on here. Now, if you have a longer word, this is where you can write determination, perseverance, whatever your word may be. Also, if you don't want to have 3 blocks, this is a way that you can even do one of your shorter words, your hope or faith or abide. Those words, you can do these on here. Yes, definitely catch the replay. And so what you're going to do with this is just same thing. You're going to paint a thin layer on the side that you want to paint this on, and then you're just going to press this on there. Make sure it's nice and even. Here's where you're going to really need your towel. You're going to want to go around now and wipe off the excess and press down your edges. When you're dealing with some older paper or thinner paper, this is really thin, you're going to want to really press down well and make sure you're cleaning off any of the excess, because you're going to flip this over and apply some pressure to it because you want that paper to lay flat. If you do not apply the pressure to this, it will get bubbly. Sorry for my dog who's barking. I live right by a military base and they're doing more ground training and stuff like that. So he's been going crazy today because of all the gunfire and and stuff like that. So I'm going to go let him out while we let this sit for just a second, so maybe he'll be quiet. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. He's a puppy and he is trying desperately to understand what is going on. So you're just going to set this aside and apply some pressure. You're going to want that to sit for about 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to pull these back over here. Thank you. And we're just going to add our second coat on top of them. So just brush on a second coat. You're going to notice as this starts to dry that it's going to be shiny and pretty. It's not going to be so dull as it was when you originally painted it. And then you'll really be able to tell if you missed a spot too, because of how shiny this becomes. So just go ahead and paint over a second coat. These don't have to be very thick. Again, if you paint these super thick, you guys, I'm not kidding. Some of these can take, I've painted them really thick before in the beginning as I was learning this, and some of them took days, literally days, to completely dry. So make sure it's a thin coat. And if you see extra bubbles, just press them down as you go along. I notice I have a few little ones on here, so I'm going to add some extra pressure and press those down. So now these are pretty much done. Yes, I do sell these. This is something that can be custom ordered. I've made tons of these. So yes, it is something, if somebody wants something more unique or detailed, I do make them. So these you're going to set aside and let these completely dry, and they're done and they're ready to go. Now, let me show you, like for instance, on these, as I showed you, these were done with photos. This is something that you guys can also do. These are black and white photos. Now, side note, if you're gonna make these on your own, do not print the pictures off of your computer. Okay, don't use an inkjet printer, because as soon as you touch the inkjet, this will bleed and you'll have a big giant mess on your hands. So you don't want to use an inkjet printer. You want to order them from whatever developing place you have close by, and order them from there. The vinyl lettering, again, is cut off of a silhouette. So all you do is the same process. Is you're going to put some Mod Podge down first, put your print on top of that, and then flip it over, apply pressure, and let it dry completely. And then on top of that, you can add vinyl lettering if you want to do that, and then Mod Podge 2 coats, just like we're doing on our letters over here. So does anyone have any questions? Thank you. Yes, this is a live broadcast, and thank you. I really wanted something unique for my family. I have different blocks all over. You guys can do your last name, and you guys can just use your stencils if you need that, or you can cut them if you have a vinyl cutter. You guys can cut your vinyl on those. So you guys can have these say anything. So let's go back over here. This should be pretty good and pressed. So yeah, this one, now all we're going to do is just go around our edges, add a thin coat on top of it. And let that dry, and then we'll add one more coat, and then this will be done. So that's how you guys can do it if you have a really long word, or if you just have a small word and just want something small to put on your desk or by your journaling station, anything like that. So does anyone have any questions? Have I jumped on this too fast? This is a really easy project. So as you can see, it's really, really easy. No, I don't normally type answers. I don't tend to finish off the bottoms because they're going to be sitting like this anyway, so nobody's going to see the bottom. Also, my fireplace mantle is white, and so if these have a dark color paint, it could leave a mark, so I don't. What you could do though is you can add a piece of felt on the bottom of this if you're worried about it scratching anything, or if you want to make sure that it is a completed look. You can add a piece of felt on the bottom of this in a coordinating color, and then it will go ahead and, one, it will protect whatever you're going to put it on, but also it'll give you a completed look. It doesn't matter to me because you can't see it anyway. Can I move an item closer to the camera? Of course. There's a closer look at these. Here's a closer look at this one as this is drying. And then these are still wet, but here's a closer look at these as well. And again, as you see, this one has this nice hole in the wood right here, so that's filled with the Mod Podge. It will dry. It will just take a little bit of time. I do not suggest that you apply heat to these. Let these dry naturally. Don't take your hair blow dryer or your heat tools and heat these up. Let these dry naturally. If you do, you can cause the Mod Podge to actually create bubbles, and so you don't want bubbles on them. So let them dry naturally. This is something you're just going to need to be a little patient with and take your time with. These are fantastic gifts, you guys. Such a great way to give somebody a gift. I've made these for grandparents. I've made them for newlyweds, for wedding gifts and baby gifts and all kinds of fun stuff. So you guys can make amazing gifts out of these too. And so yeah, does anyone else have any questions? But this is it. This is how simple it is. I like to bring you guys simple and easy things that everyone can do. My blocks are a 2x4. So what it is literally it's a 2x4 cut down to the sizes that I need. I tend to normally cut about 3.5 inches. Is my standard size is 3.5 inches tall, and then my first letter I always like it to be a little bit taller. This one is 5. This one's 5 inches. The one over here is 5.5. So it just really depends on your preference and how tall you want them to be. I personally, like I said, yes, I did sand them down on these. This cut was done by, these were cut by Lowe's, and so it wasn't necessary for me to sand them down because their cut was so nice and so clean. So I didn't have to sand these down. So if your cut is more jagged, go ahead and sand them down. No, my website is now all on Facebook. So under Facebook, it's under RNC Bows. So you can find more on RNC Bows. You've done this on tile. Awesome. Yes, they are hand painted. Everything is, you guys can either use acrylic paint. Yes, RNC Bows with a Z. Actually, no, I lied. On Facebook, it is with an S. And yes, that's it. You'll be able to find me that way. So they are hand painted. You'll just use a brush paint, brush, and then just brush them down with that, you guys, acrylic paint or chalkboard paint. I love chalkboard paint. You guys can use this for everything. And the cool part about it is when these are done, the back side of them can be turned around and used as a chalkboard. So that's what I love. Like my Joy ones, when these are done, I will be able to flip these over and use them. Instructions are not posted anywhere, but you can watch the replay. So for all those who are watching the replay, even though we're super late in there, hello. So yeah, you guys, the back side of these, when you're doing chalkboard paint, the back side of these is now a chalkboard. So I can just have these sitting here, and this back side I can change to say whatever I want. It can be a chalkboard, so I can just write on it with a regular piece of sidewalk chalk or regular chalk for a chalkboard. So that's why I like the chalkboard paint more than anything, just because you have more possibilities with it. So any other questions? For those of you who are wondering about this candle over here, this candle is amazing. And let me bring it closer to you guys. These are available for purchase. A friend of mine makes these in California. It's called The Good Stink, and you guys can see this on Facebook. So check out The Good Stink. And they're soy-based candles, and they smell delicious. This is a coffee, hazelnut coffee kind of one, and it just smells amazing. So just a side note about that. They have no idea that I'm telling all of you guys to check them out, but they are amazing, and just a really neat couple who makes those. So that's it, you guys. Like I said, I short and sweet and to the point. And any other questions? Like I said, you're just gonna let these dry. The Joy one is actually almost dry. So what I'll do with the Joy one is, like I said, I like to do the top, and I like to add, I only normally just add a coat of Mod Podge to the top, just because that way when it gets dust on it, it's so much easier to just wipe clean. So just add a layer onto the top of them once you feel it's safe enough to stand up on its own, and let that dry, and you're done. Yes, it is a fun project and a really simple one. You're welcome. So tell me, does anyone have a project that they are just dying to know how to do? And on the dory covers, you'll be able to find the instructions for dory covers on Catch. So go to catch.me, and you'll be able to search for Ribbonzncurlz, my same name. And you'll be able to see all of the replay videos there, and you'll be able to watch this anytime you want. The same thing with this. You'll be able to watch this video as long as you want. Just go to catch.me and then just look up my name, Ribbonzncurlz, and you'll be able to find that there. And you'll find them. Oh, my shirt. Thanks. It has arrows. It's fun. I love it. But you will be able to find it on Catch with a K, KATCH.me, M-E, and just pull that up on the internet, and you'll be able to just search for Ribbonzncurlz, which is the same name as it is on here, and you'll be able to find replay videos there. I know I showed you guys how to make shakers. Here's a shaker I made with this music note paper that I got too. So these are super fun to make too. And there's a video on Catch. You'll be able to see that and learn how to make these on Catch. So does anyone have a craft that they just are dying to learn how to make? Anyone? No? I can't even believe it. No one has any crafts that they want to learn how to make? guys are so quiet today. All right, well, I am going to paint the top of my letters so that they are all finished. As soon as they're dry, they'll be ready to go up in my office. So I hope you guys have a great day. For those of you that didn't get to see the entire thing, catch the replay. And if you have any questions, let me know. You know how to reach me on Instagram under Ribbonzncurlz. When you guys do make these, please tag me in them. I want to see, I want to rejoice with you guys and see what you guys have made. Right? You need more time? Yeah, if you guys think of a project that you want to learn how to make, then just let me know. Just message me on Instagram and let me know, or message me on Facebook and let me know what you guys want to learn, and I will be happy to show you that. And I have several things that I want to teach you guys how to make, so we'll have all kinds of fun stuff to learn. But yeah, all right, you guys, I'm going to let these dry and I'm going to hop off of here. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day, the rest of your day, whether it's day or afternoon or whatever that might be. So have a great day, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Bye. No, not match. Catch. K-A-T-C-H. Here, let me find a piece of paper so I can write it for you. So KATCH.me. So catch me, and then when you go to catch, you'll just look up my name. So you'll just look up Ribbonzncurlz. That's it. That's simple. So online, catch me, and then Ribbonzncurlz, and you'll be able to see all of my past videos there. All right, you guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later.